Welcome back to our show. My name is Charles. I belong to New Horizons Toastmasters Club in Tualatin, Oregon. If you're looking for a club, we invite you. And today on the show we have Deb Hart. She is a retreat facilitator, founder of Pink Sisters. She also is a keynote speaker. She's here to talk about moving from desperation to inspiration. Deb Hart, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Nice to have you. This is the second time we have met. The first time was here in the studio, from what I remember.
Was. Yeah. We did a workshop together.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice. And it's good to see that you're wearing pink again.
Yes, I am. I have a broken wrist right now, so there'd only be one color for me. That would be pink.
Great. Well, nice to have you here. You'll talk more about what pink really means to you and how it is of value to the viewers here. So who is Deb Hart? Please tell us about your story, how you moved from desperation to inspiration.
Well, in 2006, I lost my son, Casey. He was 22 years old, and he was a tugboat captain. He was in Anchorage. They found him dead on the boat, no apparent reason. And we had 2 autopsies. We'll never know exactly what happened to Casey. But with that came 7 months later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. My whole world was just tipped upside down. I became very bitter and very angry. And I stayed bitter and angry for about 4 years. Then I had an opportunity to go on a healing trip to Greece with 9 other moms who had lost a child. It was so transforming. I knew exactly what I needed to do when I got home from that 10-day trip to Greece. It was just about helping other women. It was about starting a nonprofit and taking the bright light off myself and focusing on helping other people. And that's when I started Pink Sisters. We're a nonprofit for breast cancer survivors. And what we do is we help them with their self-esteem.
I love that. I love that. I think this message is good for the viewers. We've all had loss. We've all gone through grief. I had a grandmother who died from cancer, and I lost my mother not too long ago. So I appreciate you sharing your story. Let's talk about the 3 areas that you work in. So you work as a keynote speaker, also as a retreat facilitator, and you work alongside with Pink Sisters. Can you kind of explain in detail what those areas in which you work in?
Well, the keynote speaking came from, my first stop was Toastmasters. And that was about 10, 11 years ago out in Oregon City. And when I went there, all I would do is just sit and not talk and almost cry. I was so scared.
Wow.
I never, ever wanted to speak in front of a group of 5 or 500. But I had a story to share. And every time I got to share my story, I healed just a little tiny bit more. And then with Pink Sisters, what I do for Pink Sisters is I'm the director. I'm the founder of Pink Sisters. And what we do is we do 3-day retreats on the weekends. About 70 women get to go through our program. And we build their self-esteem. We teach them how to paddleboard and kayak, make some jewelry, do some yoga. And our retreat house is right down here at Big Eddy on Marine Drive on the Columbia River. It's a big, beautiful floating home that we do our retreats in. And it's free.
Free.
Did I tell you it's free? It's free.
I love that. That's an important thing that it's free. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun too with it being free too.
We do have a lot of fun.
That's great. Let's talk about loss and grief. You said that before on our phone conversations that loss and grief are different. So can you explain the differences between the two?
Well, for me, grief has come from Casey's death, and not only that, but the grief of losing my health from breast cancer, losing my breast from breast cancer, losing who I was as Deb Hart, and becoming this new person. That is a huge part of loss. Grief also in my world has been the loss of this child. Never get over it. Always miss him. And that's exactly what grief is to me, and loss.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you.
We had talked also about the fact that actions speak louder than words. And I was just with a friend not too long ago who is actually dealing with depression. She said the same thing. So can you really kind of talk about that, how actions speak louder than words?
There are no words in most cases for you to share with me as a grieving mom or as a breast cancer survivor unless you've gone through it. So words, there are no words, but action. Were you there? Were you present? And don't give that person an opportunity to say, oh, no, 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 Deb, you're so busy. It's okay, you don't need to come out to my house. You say, I'm coming. I'm in the neighborhood. I have gotten you a latte. I'm coming. And that just means sitting on the edge of the bed and being present. That's what action says.
I love it. I love it. So how do we stay in contact with you?
Well, Inspirational Deb Hart is my website. pinksistas.org is our nonprofit.
Great. Thank you. So we thank you for coming to the show. We heard her story, how she moved from desperation to inspiration. I want to thank her for coming to the show. We thank you for watching the show. I'm Charles Shambry again. Have an awesome, awesome day.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me incredible confidence.
Confidence,
Great listening skills.
poise,
Great leadership skills.
Leadership skills.
the ability to speak in public,
Strength. A captive audience.
quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters.
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
Sales skills.
Opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a better, a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
It's a great place to fail your way to success.
Wonderful way to meet people. Networking.
Strength. It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job. I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.
My business is doing great, and I'm very, very grateful to Toastmasters.
It's been a great experience for me.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for giving me so much confidence.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for everything.
Welcome back to our show. My name is Charles. I belong to the New Horizons Toastmasters Club in Tualatin, Oregon. If you're looking for a club, we invite you. And today on the show we have Dr. Peter Okantey. He's the founder of Palm Institute and NAPE Foundation. Dr. Peter Okantey, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
So you are a Ghanaian, is that right?
Yes.
I have a lot of friends from Ghana, and I'm learning Tree here and there, so we can talk later. If I mess up on my Tree, please forgive me.
No problem.
But nice to have you, see you in person, and it's nice to have you tell your story. So who is Dr. Peter Okantey?
So Peter grew up in Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian by birth, and attended school, high school in Ghana, attended college in Ghana, and had the opportunity to move to the U.S. in 2004 with my wife, Beth Okantey. We have 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy, and I am an academic by profession and calling, if you may.
Yes.
I just love to help young people realize their potential in Ghana.
I love it. I love helping people reach their potential and help people find their calling. I think it's a noble thing, and I appreciate you sharing your story. Let's talk about the NAEP Foundation. Let's talk about the Palm Institute later, but let's cover the NAEP Foundation first. How did it start, and just kind of go over that story for us.
Yes. So NAEP Foundation was founded in 2006 as a result of my personal experiences growing up in Ghana and struggling to access higher education. I remember, having to go and borrow money to go and pay my fees.
Wow.
I remember going hungry on campus. I remember sleeping on the floors in the hostels and dormitories of the University of Ghana because the rooms were overcrowded. And coming to the US and having a totally different experience, and also the result of realizing the difference between the world I grew up in and what I was seeing. So I became, so excited about doing something back home to help bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. And so I set up NAEP Foundation to set up a university, a liberal arts college, to help train students in a liberal arts environment, with a focus on, critical thinking, professionalism, and ethics and excellence in Ghana.
Great. Doctor, tell us about some impacts it's made since its inception, the foundation.
Yes. So since we founded NAEP Foundation, we have awarded scholarships to about 153 students across the country, mostly from rural Ghana, students who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to attend university or acquire higher education. So we come alongside them and pay their fees and give them full scholarships for the most part, because these are first generation students who, need to, break through and get out of poverty to go back and help their communities. So NAEP Foundation has, awarded scholarships to such Ghanaians over the past several years.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's cover the Palm Institute. Now, you have a number of students there. Let's kind of hear how many students you have, and also what would you say, makes the school unique, different from other schools?
Very good. So Palm Institute is a liberal arts college. We focus a lot on critical thinking. We focus a lot on excellence and ethics. These are things that are lacking in most Ghanaian institutions. Another unique thing about Palm Institute is small classes. We have very few students. The total number of students now is 75. We have graduated 2 classes of students, a total of about 37 students who are working in different parts of the country. But Palm is unique in the sense that we are not too interested in becoming the largest university in Ghana.
Okay.
We are particularly focused on raising a generation of leaders who are ethical, who are excellent, and are willing to make a difference in their community. And so when we recruit them, we teach them, carefully and intentionally how to think. Critical thinking is something that is lacking in our culture, in our community. So we build these, qualities into these students. We also focus on internships and community service. And the reason for that is we need our graduates to acquire skills, professional skills. So when they graduate, they will be employable. We don't want to, graduate students who would become unemployed in our communities. So Palm is unique that way. We are a small liberal arts college that is working diligently to raise generations of leaders for Ghana and Africa, for that matter.
Great. Nicely put. You sound like a speaker. Do you do a lot of speaking?
I'm an academic, so during the week I teach thousands of students.
I believe it. Yeah, you're quite eloquent, so I appreciate you expressing yourself. You're doing a good job with that.
Thank you.
Let's. I would like to know if there's any challenges that you're facing with the foundation and the institute, is there any issues you're having or challenges that you're facing?
I like to say they are positive challenges, though. You know, setting up a university is a huge and a daunting, task.
I bet.
And it takes a lot of, funding to do that. So for the past, 15 years, it's been a lot of fundraising. Initially, we were giving all the money out for scholarships. And in 2012, my wife and I relocated to Ghana to establish the institute. As we speak, we are building our permanent campus. We have been running in rented facilities for several years. And, we set out to upgrade our courses by adding 3-year and 4-year programs. And the National Accreditation Board required that we added more facilities or expanded our facilities. So we are actually building the first phase of our campus, which is almost 85% done. So the challenge now is accessing, funds, raising funds to finish, that campus. So, more Ghanaians can benefit from the good things we have at Palm.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Understood. So how do we stay in contact with you, Doctor?
Via email and phone calls. My email address is peter@theokanteygroup.com. So it's PETER@THEOKANTEY, the word group, GROUP.com. And my Ghanaian cell phone number, my Ghana cell phone number is +233 54 881 2753. And our website addresses for the school is www.palminstitute.edu.gh. And the foundation's website address is www.napefoundation.org. So once you hit these websites or send me an email, I would respond to that immediately. And my phone is always on 24 hours, receiving phone calls. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We heard Dr. Peter Okantey's story and how he is helping others in the area of education. We heard about the foundation, the institute. We thank him for coming to the show. We thank you for watching the show. My name is Charles Shambry again. Have an awesome, awesome day.
Hi, welcome back. Good to be with you again. My name is Bill Mayer from New Horizons Toastmasters Club. For a few minutes this evening, we're going to talk to James Wantz, who is a member of the club, as well as in a district position. We're going to be talking a little bit about pathways, which is what Toastmasters International has formulated for people to excel in their teaching and leadership skills, similar to what we've done in the past. James, thank you for joining me this evening, and I hope we can talk a little bit about pathways.
Absolutely.
I saw you do a presentation just a couple of days ago, and I really appreciated a couple of the pictures that you had to describe the legacy, which was train tracks. We basically had a communications track and a leadership track, and that's very familiar for those of us who've been in Toastmasters for even a little while. But now Toastmasters is providing pathways, and you provided a picture of a ski area.
Actually, it was Mount Everest.
Mount Everest.
Now, there probably are people skiing on Mount Everest, but the reason I chose the image of Mount Everest is because there are many different ways to get to the summit. And in fact, that image had over 10 different paths that were shown to get to the summit. And I figured it was the best visual metaphor for pathways. Because in the new pathways, the new educational program, there are 10 individual paths that any member can choose one of those paths and proceed all the way through the 5 different levels.
Before we get to talking about the individual paths, I want to see if there's similarities between the legacy and the new pathways. And I've dived into pathways a little bit. When you start with the legacy system, you have the competent communicator, and then you get to the advanced manuals. And there's a lot of options with the advanced manuals. They've done away with, from what I understand, the competent communicator, and they've kind of folded that into all of the different pathways. Would that be an accurate description?
That is true. That is true. The Pathways program takes all of the pieces of the legacy educational program and folds them into the 10 individual paths, as well as liberally sprinkles in brand new content that we haven't seen before. So the icebreaker speech, which everybody is familiar with from the CC manual being the first project that they do, is still the first project in every single path. Because Toastmasters believes, and I also do too, that each time you do your icebreaker speech, you're learning something new about yourself. Whether it's your presentation, whether it's your, I don't know, how you're received maybe. So that the first speech is the same. And then people are going to recognize researching your topic, doing evaluations. All of those pieces are pulled in from the legacy program and are resident within Pathways.
How does one get started navigating Pathways?
That is one of the biggest changes for Toastmasters so far, because the legacy program was designed around manuals, actual manuals that we would use and take to our clubs. Pathways is designed as a completely interactive online environment. It lives on Toastmasters International website, so you can go to it on your tablet, your computer, or your laptop for that matter. Once you log in, you choose the Pathways and the Pathways educational program, and it takes you to what is called Basecamp, which is every single member's beginning point with their path and how they interact with an online curriculum. It's set up very much like the online curriculums that you have with colleges. Where people go in, choose projects, have assignments, finish those projects, and then have them checked off within Basecamp. The difference is that the entire interaction is in an online environment as opposed to printed material. Now, I'm a bit of a throwback. I want hard copy. And there is an option within the projects. You can print out the entire manual in a PDF format, and that's what I do.
Okay.
I download the PDF, I print it out, I take the hard copy with me to my club meeting so that I've got my paper, I've got my evaluations, I know exactly what's going on. Because I like the tangible feel of the paper in that regard.
I agree with you on that, and it does have a sense of security with that. Another aspect of the legacy system that I think there has some similarities with the Pathways is I do 10 speeches and I get another level of leadership or communication. Here I'm working for badges. Is it still 10 speeches kind of a thing?
It's actually much faster. Because with the legacy system, you'd have to do those 10 speeches before you'd be a competent communicator. With Pathways, you progress through 5 levels in each of the individual paths, and once you've completed a level, you receive the badge as a completion for that level. Well, level 1, which is the same for all paths, has 4 speeches and 1 evaluator role. So you give 4 speeches, you serve as evaluator, and you've completed level 1 of your path. Level 2 then starts to take on unique characteristics of the individual path, and you start having specific projects that are related to which path you choose.
Great. Our time is just about up, and I thank you very much for your time and helping us begin to understand a larger picture of Pathways. And I have started. I'm looking forward to it. I think it really is a good adjustment for Toastmasters as we begin the 21st century in a new dimension to Toastmasters International. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you have any information that you need regarding Toastmasters or Pathways, go to toastmastersinternational.com, look for a Toastmasters Club, check out Pathways, find out Basecamp, and we hope to see you along your journey. Thank you very much for joining us.
I joined Toastmasters to improve my speaking, listening, communication, and leadership skills.
Toastmasters gave me
Incredible confidence,
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 Great listening skills.
poise,
great leadership skills.
Leadership skills,
the ability to speak in public,
strength,
A captive audience.
quality feedback from the more experienced Toastmasters,
Toastmasters really helped me improve my listening skills.
sales skills,
opportunities to go to different groups and widen my whole horizon.
Toastmasters has given me a more focused me, and I'm a much better listener. Toastmasters is fulfilling.
it's a great place to fail your way to success.
wonderful way to meet people.
Networking.
strength,
It's addictive.
It's a club of self-improvement.
It's an experience, it's a ride that you won't forget, and you'll enjoy it every step of the way.
Toastmasters helped me land a kick-butt job.
I sang at one of my table topic speeches, and people liked it and applauded.
My business is doing great, and I'm very, very grateful to Toastmasters.
It's been a great experience for me.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for giving me so much confidence.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for everything.